Are you kidding me? Are you serious? The Eagles made the playoffs. The Philadelphia Eagles made the playoffs. They were 4-6. They were hideous throughout the beginning part of this year. When they needed to, they beat the LA Rams in LA. They beat the Houston Texans at home. And they finish off with just a domination performance against the Redskins. Now, that game was tough to watch. We win 24-0. Our defense shuts them out. But let's be real. There is nothing on the other side. That Redskins team is a joke. An absolute joke. But guess what? The Eagles had one thing to do. All they could worry about was winning that football game. They didn't have control of their own destiny. They had to win that game, and they just dominated. And the Bears beat the Vikings. And we didn't know how their coach would play it all out. Because at one point, the 49ers just got destroyed. And the Bears weren't playing for anything. And you watch the Minnesota Vikings just blow up at home. I'll be honest, I was definitely more focused on the Vikings-Bears game. That Redskins-Eagles game, it was boring. It was just so one-sided. There wasn't much to it. Of course, I watched it, but I'm just saying, my eyes were glued to that Bears-Vikings game. You have Thielen, Diggs going at it with Kirk Cousins, Zimmer on the sideline. They were just out of sync. They couldn't complete any third downs. They couldn't get anything going at home to get in the playoffs. You suck, Vikings. Now let's take a look at a couple drives, all right? Because the Redskins game, it did matter. We won 24-0. We dominated. Let's take a look at a couple of these drives, all right? So Nick Foles, by the way, he gets hurt, and Nate Sudfeld has to come in, and guess what? He gets a touchdown for the fellas. The chest area for Nick Foles is a concern at the moment. Obviously, we will get more details. But when Nick Foles was in the game, try an 11-minute and 49-second drive. 19 plays, 87 yards to put us up 10-0. And then, for our 17-0 drive, 7 minutes and 23 seconds, 13 plays, 68 yards. I mean, just moving the ball, spreading the ball around to everyone. Alshon, Golden Tate, Wendell Smallwood, Ertz, Goddard, name them, they had some touches today. It's tough for me to even dissect what just happened with the game with the Redskins and the Eagles because it was just so one-sided. The defense for the Eagles, Fletcher Cox, Michael Bennett, Brandon Graham, just eating all night long. You couldn't stop them. The offensive line playing well for the Birds. You couldn't stop them. The Redskins are just so depleted. It was a pitiful disgrace out of them. But at the end of the day, your Philadelphia Eagles squeaks into the playoffs at 9-7. I can't believe it. We were 4-6. We were blowing this team apart. We really were. Of course I did. Of course. When we were 4-6, if you're saying you still had faith we were going to make the playoffs, you're a liar. You're lying. But the way Doug Peterson kept this thing together. I mean, you got to give credit to Doug P. He kept the locker room in check. You got to give credit to Nick Foles, to Jason Peters, Malcolm Jenkins. The leaders of this team and this culture and this locker room kept them together in a very hard time. And I am stunned. Now, in regards to what I think about the future and what we're going to do in the playoffs, we'll get there. This moment, this is to enjoy the fact that this football team, after winning a Super Bowl, after not knowing how to handle the pressure of winning a Super Bowl and coming back into a season, they make the playoffs when they were 4-6. I love that. You're talking about 4-4 at the bye. Coming off the bye at home on Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys, losing, getting blown out by the Saints, and still making the playoffs and finishing 9-7. I am just so proud of that locker room. The injuries, and everyone's injured. I get it. Everyone in the league is injured. But at some points in this season, we had Joe Smith off the corner of Camden, New Jersey, playing cornerback. It got to that extent. It got to 8th, 9th, 10th string cornerbacks. It got to the point where we couldn't move the ball at all. Now, we struggled a little bit in this game early on, which we've seen. First quarter, not putting up many points. That's our thing this year, apparently. But once the rhythm got going, once we started putting together drives, we dominated. Dominated. I hope Nick Foles is okay. I mean, we still have time to figure it out until then. We still have some time to regroup here, and we wanted the Bears so badly to win, and guess what? We were all Bears fans this week, and now it's the enemy. Now we're going into Soldier Field. It's going to be an amazing journey to see where this team actually takes us. Let's go. Yeah. Yes. I am that excited. We did it. We made the playoffs. I can't even comprehend it. I can't even comprehend it. 9-7 and in the playoffs. That's all that matters. Get there. Get there. Once we're there, now we'll worry about it. Right now, it's enjoy the moment. So, to start this game off, too, Rasul Douglas leads the fellas off with a nice interception. And then we put Nick Foles in behind center, under center, and we start moving downfield, and he throws a horrible interception. But it's not like at any point in this game I thought to myself, we're actually going to lose. The Redskins have nothing. I mean, nothing. Nothing. They had no answers. They couldn't beat our pressure. They had literally nothing. I was so comfortable. In the recliner, feet up. I had the dog with me. Renzo licking my face. I had to tell him to stop eating his feet. He had the Eagles jersey on. I put the Eagles jersey on for the first time this year, actually. I said I needed a little something. I needed something extra just to believe. So we put the Eagles J on him, and it worked. And you will bet my ass he will have it on for the remainder of the playoffs for the Birds. But I was so relaxed. So calm. I mean, if you weren't, then you have an issue. Because let's be real. Come on. Come on. It came down to that Minnesota Vikings team just failing at home to go to the playoffs, and they can't get anything going. They were atrocious. They couldn't get their running game going. Their offense looked terrible. They had like 20-something yards in the early parts of this game total in the first half or something of that nature. It was terrible. Speaking of terrible, though, the Redskins had 2 yards in the first quarter. Let's go, Eagles. Playoffs. Playoffs. See, the part that I take out of this the most, really, is the fact that we never knew. These players never experienced a season after the Super Bowl. It is such a different nature. You always have the target on your back. People want to destroy you. And at some points of the season, yeah, when it gets to the midway point and people realize you're not the powerhouse anymore and you have the Saints and Rams, sure, I understand it changes. But the target on the back, you don't know what it's like until you experience it. And we clearly struggled. We struggled in the beginning of the year to understand that, to comprehend it. And then we became that underdog feel again, did we not? Oh, the Eagles won't make playoffs. Oh, there's no way they win their last 3 games. And listen, I'm not saying I wasn't one of those people. I definitely were. But once the mentality switched and we got back to that underdog role, we go out there and win. But guess what? The matter of the fact is we did that. At first, I was going to praise the fact that we won and made playoffs with the target on the back, which we did, but now that I'm starting to realize, oh, well, it did switch until the underdog role, so was my point even valid in the beginning with where I was going with? I don't know. I'm just so excited. I'm just so pumped up. I'm sweating. I mean, I couldn't even sit there. I was pacing around the kitchen. What a remarkable story with where we were with 3 games left. We put together 3 wins. We haven't done that all year. We put together 3 wins against insanely talented squads, besides the Redskins. And everything fell into place. Everything fell into place. Let me know your thoughts down below. I mean, I love the way this team played. I love the way this team fought back at the end of the season. I love it. I love it. Hopefully Nick Foles is okay. Go thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Go Pirates.